Summer is here and you may be heading to the beach, but you should be careful about the type of sunblock that you buy. Dr. Gregg Silverman joins us live to discuss how to carefully choose your sunblock options. Dr. Silverman, so good to see you. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
Before we get into the sunblock options, let's talk about why sunblock is important. How does UV exposure impact our skin?
Well, remember, it can damage the basal layers of your skin. And the higher, certainly the higher the sun, the higher the level of intensity, the more that you can damage that. So it's important that when you go outside, you use some sort of sunscreen, and you don't need the highest level. You just need to repeat the level. And we do this every year. Remember, we do this, our sunscreen talk on this program every year to say, remind people to use sunscreen and don't overpay for sunscreen.
Dr. Silverman, what type of sunscreen is better, chemical or physical? And what's the difference between both?
Well, a chemical sunscreen actually prevents this, whereas these physical sunscreens just are barriers. That is, they're layered on thick. It kind of depends on what you want to do. If you're out there playing in the sun, you kind of want the chemical that doesn't quite reflect it off. You want the one that absorbs it. You want those kind of things rather than that white, sticky kind of stuff. But if you're just out there laying in the sun, it doesn't really matter, does it?
So how often should we be reapplying it?
Well, at least every about 2 hours. And if you're doing more things in the sun, that is, if you're out there playing in the sun or playing volleyball or sweating or things, or even getting in and out of water, it's important that you probably do it about every hour, every couple of hours. So it's important that you reapply this stuff if you're sweating it off. Even though they say they're sweat proof, it's not really the case.
What about for kids, Dr. Silverman? What is the best sunscreen for our children?
I'm sorry.
For the kids.
What?
For our kids. Best sunscreen for kids.
Oh, well, again, with them, it's the same kind of thing. It's all sunscreens. There's no differences between sunscreens for kids and sunscreens for adults. It just has to do with the amount of sunblock. That is the UPF factor. And the UPF factor, as it goes up, it basically from 10 to, I think they now have 100 per 100 UPF. And that's the amount of rays that don't get to your skin over a certain amount of time. As it turns out, the curve is kind of steep. So you don't need the 100, you need the 30, but you need to keep reapplying it every so often. And kids, again, they're active, they're running around, they're sort of wearing off their sunscreen, they're in and out of the water. Remember to reapply.
Dr. Silverman, thank you so much for being with us. We appreciate your time. If you have a question for Dr. Silverman, text your question to the number on your screen, 361-855-6397.